Culinary people, that's how we treat certain things. So it's brining, it's marinating, it's seasoning. So it comes in a way where you love something before it actually exists. What that means is that before you see something, before you see the final product of something, give it love from the initial get-go.
Let's talk red meat, and let's talk the red meat that is maybe the less fatty. Your venison, your leaner red meat cuts, your ostrich.
Now you're speaking my language.
His eyes were so excited.
So there's a method called curing. So what curing means is you're actually just taking something and actually giving it extra love. So let's say an ostrich. What I would do with that, I would take a dry cure. What a dry cure looks like, let's say I would take a 10% salt, 10% sugar, marry that together, and actually just leave it in that solution.
So what's the difference between curing and marinating?
Curing and marinating. So curing actually absorbs the flavor. Marination actually gives it a much more deeper and a much more denser taste within it.
And then when do you inject the flavor?
So that dry solution that I was talking about, that's the actual easier method of actually doing that. So instead of actually layering it for 24 hours, they actually just inject in it, so that actually just absorbs the flavor.
Okay, and then let's talk your fattier cuts, your oxtail, your lamb. Just mute your phone there. So all those cuts that have lots and lots of fat, which we know fat and bones are flavor. How do you... Guys, this man really loves food.
Oh, talking to me nice.
Listen, can I tell you the parts that have a lot of fat but a lot of flavor?
Yes.
Or when I lamb spit by the ribs, the lamb ribs. Okay, so talk to me about the fatty cuts. What are some of the things you generally implement when it comes to your fatty cuts? And if you need to separate between stewing and maybe grilling.
So I like what you said when you actually start with that. Fat is flavor. So that on its own. So the higher fat quantity actually gives you a much more faster.
It's just come, there we go.
Yes.
You and this mic are not friends, and she just wants to be loved by you. There we go.
It actually gives you a faster absorption rate. So fat will absorb seasoning faster than anything else. So that's where your marination comes into.
Yes.
So that's when you start marinating.
And if you were to pick 3 spices that are a must-have, not herbs, we'll get to herbs later. 3 spices that are a must-have, and you can't tell me 6 gun. Nah. I mean like the basics, your barbecue. What are the 3 spices that are a must-have for meat in general in your house?
So, still sticking to the basics. Salt, pepper, going crazy, go a bit of paprika. Smoked paprika does the job.
I failed that test. I was going to say the barbecue
but
vibes, but because I can't take heat.
Yeah, as much as you can't take heat, like let's look at the barbecue vibes. So barbecue vibe is something that's already laid.
Yes.
How do you get to lay it as an individual as well? Yeah. So now you need to start thinking about that. So when you say, not 6 gun, 6 gun is already layered. No, there's a couple of things that are added in there. You have your...
Guys, if you've never bought 6 gun, then tell me, buy 6 gun. You can get away with not having anything else in the house if you're struggling. Remember we spoke about Mampara week last week. 6 gun will get you far in life. Eggs, anything, 6 gun.
Like, even the actual new flavor of 6 gun.
There's a new flavor?
There's a new flavor. About that. Yeah, it's wonderful.
What is the difference between putting spices in heated oil
flavors. So that's how you get the actual intensity of the spice. That's how you get the perfection out of it.
Which are the other 3 spices that you'd say, now you've been paid, you have money to go crazy? What are the 3 spices that a person needs to make sure they have versatile spices?
Versatile spices for me, Cajun spice. The bomb. Cajun spice. Let's look at also, I'm much more of a, citrusy type of person.
Oh.
Yeah, so Cajun spice, looking at your tarragon, you're looking at your dried cumin, you're looking at your ground paprika, you're looking at your, it's just a whole lot of, levels.
He's struggling here.
Yeah.
What's the difference between black pepper and white pepper? And what should be used for where?
So there's no difference. They're born in the actual sin. So when you actually grind up your pepper to a third amount, that's when you get white pepper.
Wait, when you grind it up to a?
To powder.
Yes.
So when you grind it up to powder, so you're activating the spicy agent within it.
Oh.
So when you actually grind it up, so it comes in as a little corn.
Yes.
So that corn actually has 2 layers to it.
Yes.
If you look at it properly, there's 2 layers.
Yes.
So the black pepper layer and there's a white little layer inside.
I got you.
Yeah, so that white layer, that's what you want.
We learn every day. Okay, now let's talk about herbs.
Yes.
Because we obviously cannot talk seasoning without herbs.
Yes.
I actually think herbs don't get used as much as they should.
Yeah.
And we already know that, thank goodness, a lot of things are pre-done for us. You being a chef, usually go for the fresh things.
100%.
What is your philosophy around herbs? So we've covered the meats and maybe we can revisit. What are the things that you'd say, and please, I missed out on fish. What are the things, and because I'm not a fish eater, probably I forget it. Let me do it for everybody. What are the herbs that you think people need to be using on which meats and why?
So, even that, like you're looking at your rosemary, your thyme, dill, chives, tarragon, sage. So there's a lot of herbs that we are able to use. Your oregano. So those herbs on its own, they add a much more deeper freshness. So what we actually call them aromatics. So why we call them aromatics is because they actually give the dish a much more freshness.
Yes.
Much more lighter. So instead of going for something that's dried, I'd rather go for something that's fresh, because the freshness on its own, you still get the natural oils within the herbs. So something like a rosemary, if you actually pop rosemary in your stew, you would actually feel the uprising of that aromatic in the house. It starts actually warming up the house. So something like your dill, it gives you a much more, citrusy and fresh lining within that. Something like your tarragon as well, much more citrusy, much more beautiful. So every single herb has its own characteristics. So those characteristics actually get to marry. So if we're talking fish, so fish, dill, coriander, tarragon, chives, lemon zest, lemongrass, so those kind of things actually add a much more acidic and citrusy flavor to the fish itself.
So to everybody listening, rosemary, thyme, and basil. Okay, and another one says steak tender. There's a spice that is said it can tenderize meat. Does it work?
It does work. So it's a shortcut. So how we as chefs would treat things, you actually give it life and time. So our biggest ingredient within the kitchen is time.
Not THYME, time. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? You've got a new restaurant opening up and you're at a spot at the moment. Talk to us.
So spot at the moment, Celebrity Restaurant 24 Central. That's where we at. New restaurant. We are opening a new restaurant called Amber. So Amber will be located in Cedar Square in a couple of weeks. So just keep doing it. It's a much more like Afro-Asian.
You're cheating us because you have to come back to tell us about the new spot.
It's fine.
So last question. Raja in a stew. Is it stew or is it curry? Okay, there we go. Just after 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon, Mbali. You can officially call that Raja in your stew curry.
Well, thank you for that very, very important